In this video, we're going to talk you through the updates, so you'll see how quickly we're working. But most importantly, I'm going to show you the power of capital allowances and why you should always make sure you look at capital allowances when you buy a commercial property. And as a special bonus or a double icing on the cake is if you are running serviced accommodation, you can then have a second lot of capital allowances when you refurbish your project. So watch this video. I'll cover that in detail for you. Hi, Shaz here again. We're at the New England Club to show you the progress that's been made since the last video. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos, if you click the button at the top, you can have a look at that and see how a building project progresses. So in this room here, we've now got some plasterboards. The windows are in, so this is pretty much nearly done. We're going to look through now and show you some of the updates. Here we've got one of the front doors. You can see a lot of insulation going in, which is important because it is an old building. I think it's 1860s or something like that. So it did need a lot of insulation and a lot of soundproofing, but we're nearly there with it. Over here, more plasterboards brought, more cement. So the guys are really moving fast. It's all coming together now. It looks very, very different, and more than halfway there. Exciting stuff. Okay, so in this room here, plasterboards have gone in. They've plastered the walls, the ceiling, the nice little feature up here, and all the spotlights. So if you followed us on the Boston project, London Road, Boston, you'll have seen the end product. This is very similar. If you haven't, there's a playlist here. Watch and have a look at the Boston project and you'll see the quality of the finishing. And you'll also see the standard of the work. That particular project finished just before COVID kicked in, and we were able to fill all the rooms, 21 flats, within a matter of a week and a half. That was pretty much when lockdown started, and the quality of the work was so good that whoever pretty much came in wanted a room. So if you do a good finish, good quality work, the likelihood is you'll attract more tenants who are interested, better quality tenants. They're going to look after the building, and it's going to last longer as well. So it's always well worth spending that bit extra to make the project look really good. This is going to be a nice little feature wall with the lights. There's some wallpaper here, I assume, because that's what we did last time. So it's going to stand out and look really nice. Nice big windows, plenty of light coming through. Nice visual here with the park, gym outside, which I have talked about previously, but it works really, really nice. And the view from this side is excellent, to be honest with you, really, really good. It's a bit windy outside, so they've stopped work here, but again, plasterboards up, they'll be plastered soon. Again, a decent sized room, all looking really good. So the tax tip for you today is if you buy a building, depending on what you're going to do with it, you can claim capital allowances. So for us, this is going to be serviced accommodation. So when we bought the building, if you haven't seen any of the earlier videos, click up here, you can watch those videos. We paid £500,000 for it, did a capital allowances claim which was just over £126,000. That's pretty significant, just over a quarter of the value of the building or the purchase price. Once we refurbish the whole lot, we'll have a second lot of capital allowances, which is going to be again quite sizable. And then when we run it as serviced accommodation, we can write off the capital allowances or the value of the capital allowances over a number of years, depending on the type of allowance it is or expenditure it is, and that's going to reduce stroke eliminate our tax. Now the new capital allowances, we can write off all of them in 1 year depending on the total value. So as we speak today in August 2020, you can write off up to £1 million for your annual investment allowance. That finishes at the end of this year, 31st of December 2020. After that, it's going to go back to £200,000. So in simple terms, if you spend £200,000 worth of expenditure which qualifies for capital allowances, you can write that all off in the first year under annual investment allowances. What does that mean? That means if you've got £200,000 worth of profit, and let's say you've got a limited company and you write off the £200,000 worth of expenditure against your taxable profit, that means you pay zero corporation tax in that particular year. Now let's say if you have a sole trader partnership or limited liability partnership, you've made that 200 grand profit, you write it off, so you've got no taxable profit. However, you can use the money, that 200 grand, if it's still in the bank account, as you please, as you choose. Linking back to our limited company example, you wouldn't pay any corporation tax, but if you want to take that money out, unless there's any money owed to you on your director's loan account, you'd have to pay income tax. So sometimes it might be better off having an LLP, for example, depending on the value of the capital allowances, because once you write the capital allowances off against the profit, you can use that money, because an LLP is transparent for tax purposes. So you as individuals, you and your partners, pay tax personally when you file your personal tax returns. That's big. Do not miss out on capital allowances. A lot of people do. Every time you're buying a commercial property, speak to a tax expert and make sure you explore and fully consider capital allowances, because it's a big tax saving to have, and a lot of people miss out on it, and I don't want you to miss out. So some of the things that you can claim capital allowances on in this particular building, we had heating, we had radiators, we had a massive kitchen, there was a lot of equipment in there, there was a bar, we were able to claim capital allowances on that. There were some aircon units, we were able to claim capital allowances on that. They had a big walk-in freezer, that qualified for capital allowances. Cameras, alarms, those types of things which are fitted into a building but which aren't part of the building, all qualify for capital allowances. Hence why, because it's a big building, the claim here was big. But it's difficult for an untrained eye to work out exactly which items qualify for capital allowances. That's where you contact a firm like ours. We'll happily go in there, survey the building and make sure we pick up everything for you, not just on purchase, but when you refurbish. If you're running, like I said, service accommodation, we'll make sure we pick up all the new capital allowances on your refurbishment work too.